Chapter 11. Salami sandwiches and Diet Pepsi seemed to fill the hole nicely and gave the general atmosphere in the room a sense of family. I expected a pot of macaroni and cheese with hot dogs for dinner, maybe even a batch of tater tots on the side. Several others that had not been there earlier joined us, including Tony, the chilled beer maker, and the gangster with the Rolex whose name I couldn't remember. Everyone seemed fixated with the jumping fish and the piano playing, explaining in great detail for those that missed. They were asking if I had to coordinate each fish with a specific beat and time them so that they started swimming toward the surface before the beat arrived so that they would leap into the air on cue. Unfortunately, I had no information for them. It just seemed to work. The conversation eventually switched to baseball, which was starting up soon, and how the Phillies made a good trade for a new pitcher that spent most of the last season on the DL. A thought popped in my head, and I just couldn't resist asking it. "Hey, Tony, why not use the power to help the Phillies win? Seems like it would be a no-brainer."
"I wish. Don't think I haven't thought about it. There were a few times I thought the temptation would be too great. Truthfully, it's been done before, and every time that athlete dies unexpectedly. That's what the fallen do when the seekers cannot find the source of the power. They terminate the evidence or kill the witnesses. We think they do it to send a message."
A lingering dull pain in the darkest part of my being flared to life. I changed the subject. The fallen seem to have many levels and roles. I've heard of the seekers and hunters. Anybody else I should keep an eye out for?
"Good question." Mac jumped in. "I should really have Zoo explain because he is the master at defense."
He looked over at Zoo, who appeared to be ignoring all of us and contemplating a sandwich.
"Zoo, care to give us a quick rundown of the fallen ranks?"
Zoo, still not acknowledging us with even a glance in our direction, took a deep breath and slowly exhaled, as if annoyed by our pallid line of questioning. He began.
"There are 4 main types of soldiers within the ranks of the fallen. They are Seekers, Hunters, Crawl, and Oryx. The Seeker's job is to find those that show an awareness of the creation power. Often they attempt to persuade that person to join them. They are frequently successful. Seekers are always human, not demons or possessed souls. Some actively pursue us, others are just informants, spies. Hunters are either humans or possessed souls. They are the ones that are masters of reciting people, unremorseful, violent, aggressive. While the Seekers have a certain finesse about them, the Hunters tend to be cruel, social misfits, thugs, with limited ability to think for themselves. Demon dogs, or Crawl, we call them, are possessed animals that we cannot influence. Telling the difference between a normal animal and a Crawl is sometimes difficult, but not impossible, as Daniel has already alluded to. At this time, we do not know how to expel a demon from an animal, but we are confident that it can be done."
I seem to recall something in the Bible about Jesus casting out demons into a bunch of swine, but I wasn't about to bring it up. Last thing I wanted to do was make this into a Bible study. "That just leaves the Oryx. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss character." No laughs. Tough crowd. Zoo took another deep, slow breath.
"People underestimate the Oryx like they do the sniper on the battlefield. The sniper is never seen, never in the middle of an action, never announce his presence. But the effect of a sniper can drive paralysis through entire battalion. Watching your fellow soldier drop dead around you cause one to feel the weight of your existence, knowing that you could likely be next."
Zoo pointed at another quote on the wall and read from memory.
"Fear is most potent weapon for the enemy. Fear is most subtle and destructive of all human diseases. Fear kills dreams, kills hope. Puts people in the hospital, can aid you, hold you back and paralyze you. The Oryx are masters of fear and the masterminds of the ground operations for the fallen, the commanders of all the seekers, hunters, and the crawl. You will most likely never meet one, but they are driving all the actions against us. When one of us gets restarted, an Oryx smile.
Do we know how many there are?
The seekers number in the thousands or tens of thousands, and hunters probably half as many. Crawl are much harder to figure, but they are everywhere. They are difficult to detect and probably are some kind of lower demon life form anyway. There are very few Oryx, maybe less than 100. And there is one more thing you should know. The Oryx are superior demons who can use powers to achieve their goal. We have been told that their powers can often seem like the power of creation, but in reality, they are not that powerful. We have been told that the Oryx can take human form without possessing another human being. They can also move matter in quite impressive fashion.
So, how is that different than the power of creation? If they can move things with their mind, just like us, how is that different? Zoo let a sly grin escape and answered.
Moving a page or filling glass with water is the least of a power of creation. You think making fish jump is big deal?
Well, I did a minute ago. Suddenly I felt like I forgot to read a chapter in the training manual. Listen, I said. No one told me what all I could do with the power. I know you can move matter and influence animals and heal people, which is more difficult, or so I'm told.
You have no idea. Do you know why it becomes cold around you when you use power? No? You are pulling the energy from the immediate environment, literally sucking the energy out of matter. Do you know Einstein's theory of relativity?
I nodded, afraid to say something stupid. I decided Zoo lacked a sense of humor and that we would probably never ever really get along, so I kept my cynical, sarcastic side in check.
All matter is energy and energy is matter. On a fundamental level, we are all comprised of energy that could be turned into something else. When you move a page in book, you are just reapply energy to the page just like you would spend energy by turning a page by hand. The same goes with healing someone. The sensation is the opposite for the person being healed, experiencing warmth as energy reshapes the matter inside the body, healing a wound.
Can you heal people, Zoo?
I can heal people at times, depending on wound. I have even on occasion been able to heal myself. In case you have not been told, it is much more difficult to heal yourself. I still struggle with healing unseen affliction, like cancer or arthritis, he said, looking at Juliet.
Considering I accidentally cured my mother of cancer, supposedly, I was a bit surprised that no one else here seemed to be able to do it. So, we use the energy around us to shape and manipulate matter, correct? Zoo nodded once. Is it then also possible to turn energy into matter? Actually create something out of nothing? Zoo nodded again, and a sly smile appeared on his face. And when is somebody going to show me that trick? I asked. I knew the basic theory of matter into energy, but the practical conversion of the two is something entirely different. Nella stood and added, We hoped you would show us, Finn. Sure, Nella, no problem. Oh, God, I don't think she's kidding. Are you serious? Finn, we are learning as we go. No one really has a good idea how to fully use the power, and the ones who are best at it have all been restarted. That's why we are so careful. When all the great teachers were restarted, we essentially went backwards several generations. We have no idea how to use the power that way, Even the power to heal is very difficult to teach. You have already demonstrated skills beyond ours, and you aren't even trying. Sure, we can teach you what we know, but the fact of the matter is that we need you to teach us."
Oh boy.